Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of GTV. I've seen a lot of people look at my videos, and most of you guys really love the Facebook ads videos that I come up with. And I had guests on the show before who were Nina and Anne who share their thoughts on it. So today I have another friend, and my friend is Mr. Julian Canita. He is also a Facebook ad strategist. Hi, Julian. Hello.
Hi, Ginger. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me here now. Thank you
How
for
are you,
watching. Yeah.
Julian? What have you been up
Um,
to?
I'm doing well. Of course, work. Mostly helping entrepreneurs with Facebook ads. Since that is the business. So we've been doing it as a service, and at the same time, we've been coaching people who want to learn it for themselves as well. Then add to that, being a first time second father or
Yes.
basically we have a new baby. So
Oh,
it's different.
congratulations.
Thank you. It's different this time around, but it's fun adventure.
That's good. That's good. So I'm glad you're doing well. So what I wanted to discuss today, Julian, I think we had a previous conversation on this. No, so we were just casually talking about businesses who were online, and a lot of the businesses that I've seen and business owners that I've seen are first-time business owners. I guess it's because
Mhm.
of that during this pandemic, a lot of people have been
Yes.
trying out a lot of new things, trying to
Mhm.
start their own businesses, which is very good, and that's what we're encouraging people to do. No, it's
Yep.
to look for other sources of income. So one of the things that I've seen, going back to my point, was um, I've been seeing a lot of businesses ask likes from their friends and family,
Yeah.
and a lot of people, actually, not only their friends and family, but they post it on their business Facebook business page, or in different
Mhm.
groups and different Facebook groups and Viber groups, asking people to like their page. So
Mhm.
that's the conversation that I wanted to have with you, Julian. So what are your thoughts on getting Facebook likes?
Yeah. So when you ask me the question, are Facebook likes important? And it seems like a simple question. I was looking at it, and it's actually a very difficult question to answer. It's not a yes or no question. Basically, because there are some merits to it. Now, it can be important. It is relevant. But at the same time, it's not bottom line results. So basically, to answer your question, to get straight to the point, to a yes or no answer, my personal answer would be no. It's not important. With the basic idea that likes do not necessarily pay the bills. Likes do not translate into sales, and you have probably experienced this in. I mean, the people listening, you probably experienced this both ways. As the person with the page, not everyone who likes your page really end up buying. At the same time, you probably have a lot of pages that you like or you follow, but you're not necessarily a customer. So for me, that's my answer. But again, it's much more complicated than that, because there are merits to having people like your page.
Yeah.
Number one is because it's basically social proof. You know how we would, when we were all able to go out, and you would be at the mall, and then you would want to know where it would be nice to eat. um, and one way that you would determine where you would eat is if there are a lot of people eating there, because that
That's
means that it's a
true.
good place. That's usually what happens to us when we're traveling. We have no idea what the place is, but we'd walk on the street and we'd go to the restaurant where there's a lot of people because it's probably good. And I did do a survey before, informal survey, asking people who to follow me. I had about 300 respondents, and I basically asked, when you are dealing with businesses on Facebook, does Facebook does the number of Facebook likes matter? And based on this survey alone, it's two-thirds said yes, it does matter. So I think that idea of people having people like your page and seeing that, hey, 1,000 people like this, it adds a level of legitimacy, which is important because since a lot of, even before the pandemic, a lot of businesses are online, and one of the fears of a lot of people was being scammed, because they're not able to see the business face to face, and having a lot of Facebook page likes can help give that legitimacy. Now, on the other hand, for me, it's not it's, I call it a vanity metric because again, it's just for that, for social proof. But there
Mm-hmm.
are ways around, trying to get more likes just for the sake of it, just for the sake of social proof. So there were people who were selling likes. Maybe
Yeah.
buy for $20 get 100,000 likes or something like that. So it's not legitimate page likers. It's just, I don't know how that works. Maybe bots, fake accounts. So that doesn't really help the business.
Yeah.
And on a more technical side, so how Facebook works. So let's take a step back and understand how Facebook works as
Mm-hmm.
a platform. As individuals, we have our own interests. And with your interests, they manifest themselves as behaviors, particularly behaviors that we exhibit on Facebook. For example, if I like dogs, I would probably like photos of dogs on Facebook. And
Mm-hmm.
these behaviors are what Facebook uses to profile us. And that's how Facebook sees who is Julian, what does Julian like.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's a platform, it wants to keep us on the platform. um, Facebook will keep on feeding that type of content to me. These are the things that I engage with. So in a way, to tie that back to the page likes, that's actually hurting your business if you just get random people to like your page.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because Facebook in its own way starts to profile the people who like your page, assuming that those are your target customers. So that it will suggest your page to be like to people who are not likely to be your customers. So that's something that sometimes we've been careful about, especially when I was
Mm-hmm.
getting started. I didn't really, for example, for my page, I wanted entrepreneurs to follow my page because that is my target market. I didn't want to broadcast it to everyone, at least to start off, because I wanted Facebook's algorithm to understand that, hey, I'm trying to reach entrepreneurs. So look at the people who are liking my page now when I got my first 100, 200. And then Facebook will start to understand, okay, entrepreneurs like Julian's page. Let me suggest his page to other entrepreneurs who might like the same. Really, that for me, and this is just for me, that idea
Mm-hmm.
of hey everyone, and everyone random just like my page, that can help in one sense, but in a way it's also hurting yourself. So it's really a toss up. But
Yeah.
if you had to ask me, it's not important. We've been able to launch campaigns with newly launched pages with less than 1,000 or even 100 likes, but we were able to focus on the bottom line, get people to inquire and eventually buy. So basically, to
Yeah.
answer your question, after this long spiel, for me, it's not that important.
Okay, so yeah, so maybe no. You mentioned that getting Facebook likes is probably something that we can use for social proof. So if I
Yeah.
know, Julian, that you've been a consultant for a lot of small businesses, if they were starting their own Facebook business pages right now, what are the few steps or the first few steps that you would want them to start doing first, rather than focusing they're focusing on likes or increasing likes?
Yeah. So for me, I'm a big proponent of really knowing who your target audience is. And I mean that's just something that I feel strongly about. I try to recommend that to some people who get us for consultation, and they say, oh, we have our target market down. Oh, our target market is everyone. Our product is great for everyone. But that actually really hurts your marketing efforts. This whole idea, especially for small businesses, that idea of niching down. We call it. There's a saying that the richest are in the niches,
Mm-mm.
and I believe that to be true, no, for a lot of reasons. Like, for example, God forbid if I have a problem with my heart, if I were to go to the doctor and I had to choose between a general practitioner or a heart specialist, I would go
Yeah.
to the heart specialist. I mean, they're both doctors, but I would go to the heart specialist. Or when I was getting married, when I was looking for photographers for our wedding, I wouldn't search for just photographer on Google. I would search for wedding photographer.
True.
So that idea of knowing who your ideal target market is already is a big step. And again, some people understand this, but they overcomplicate it. Oh, who is my target market? But really, it just boils down to who do you want to work with.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I use the word ideal target audience. Even if you're just getting started, you don't have to necessarily think what is a good target audience. You can just say, oh, who do you want to work with? Is it moms, dads, entrepreneurs? So it can be up to you. And the value of this is by knowing who they are, knowing what they do, that can start to define what your content on the page can be. For example, I have a friend. She's a financial advisor. So
Yeah.
this is one of the usual industries where people will say our product is for everyone because everyone
Mm-hmm.
has a life insurance, which I understand. But for this particular friend of mine, what she did was to have be specific. She's the financial advisor for doctors, and she was
Mm-hmm.
able to build her brand. Her content was still based on financial concepts, saving, investment,
Correct.
but she focused her niche on just doctors, and she was able to build her brand, get clients. Yeah, I mean, it works for also a lot of freelancers who I've known. A student of mine does Facebook ads specifically for Filipino e-commerce business owners. So now when he has case studies, it's all about e-commerce. It's when he talks to people, goes to events, it's all about e-commerce. And it's very specific. So really
Mm-hmm.
having that clear understanding of who your target audience is can define a lot of what you will do in your business, particularly in starting a page, naming the page, and even the content that goes on the page.
So those are like really great tips, Julian. No? So it's really defining your target market. So I want to
Yes.
know your thoughts on running Facebook ads, because another thing that owners of Facebook business pages talk about right now is that like some of them are not really like established brick and mortar stores or even online e-commerce shops. Some of them are
Yep.
professionals like what you've mentioned, financial
Mm-hmm.
advisors, brokers. People say that if I'm like an individual, I don't need to run ads. No, it's not really a business. Or if I
Mm-hmm.
just established recently a home based business where I sell like food, it's not really something that I need to run ads for. So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on Facebook ads? When I post something, do people readily see all of the things that I post when they like my page related to likes?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
is it something that I need to do because people don't see my the posts?
Yeah. All right. So in relation to that, no, and I feel like if people have started their own pages, started to post, started to get page likes, you've probably started to notice this as well. That let's say you have maybe 1,000 people who like your page, and you post. Not all the 1,000 people will see your page. And you'll get to see that, no, how many people you've reached. Let's say 1,000 people like your page, and maybe only 100 or even less will be reached. And that's really what the power of Facebook ads are. No, it allows you to, number one, reach more of the people who already like you. And at the same time, it allows you to go beyond that, to go beyond your circle of the people who like you and target people based on their behaviors or interests. So for me, yes, it is important because it's a I mean, the first part to any relationship, to a buying relationship, is people need to um, know you. People need to know you, and this is a way for you to get known. Now, one like you were saying, some people feel that other I'm an individual, I'm a professional. Yes, I sell something, but I don't need to run ads. I think one of the big misconceptions here is because when we talk about advertising, we automatically think that we are selling something. I mean, of course, or that the ad is like the TV ads that we see. Hey, buy this, buy this, buy this. But as we know, we did workshops before. As we know, with Facebook ads, it's not necessarily about selling, but it's really just using the platform, and in this case, paying the platform to get your message, whatever you want to say, in front of your ideal target audience. Whether it's to sell something or whether it's just really to promote content, to promote yourself, to get yourself out there. So it's really just a means for you to put yourself out there and not necessarily, hey, buy me. My name is Julian. Call my number. So that is it's advertising, but when you talk about Facebook ads, it's not necessarily something like that. No, and for personal brands, for example, I would even push that you are the ones that really can benefit from Facebook ads, because Facebook is a social platform. So which is why, for example, for my ads or for my clients' ads who are coaches, I always like using their faces, making the ads very personal, because that's the platform. It's native to the platform, and not so much, hey, this is my course, buy my course. So it's very content driven and personal. That sometimes it's even you would even wonder, we have sponsored posts of that we're not selling anything. Like
Yeah.
for example, I have ads where I'm just promoting memes, just to just to engagement or anything. But I mean, that's all part of really putting ourselves in front of our target audience, getting them to know us, eventually like us, and then trust us enough to buy in the back end.
Interesting, interesting. So I think what you mentioned about targeting, that's very important because a lot of the business owners that we have today have limited budget. And then when
Yeah.
it's running ads, maybe you can give us like an indication later of how much ads costs, no, Julian. But
Mm-hmm.
my what I wanted to say was, because of that limited budget, you really have to know who you want to talk to, so that when you
Yes.
target it in your Facebook ads, or when you choose the people that you want to talk to, when you define your audience before running your ad, you know exactly where you want to spend your money on, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
yeah, maybe give us an indication, Julian, like um how much Facebook ad costs, and being a
Mm-hmm.
startup business, what kind of ads or what objectives should I begin with?
Yeah. So in terms of budget, I always get asked this question, and really it's difficult to answer because Facebook is a bidding platform, meaning the cost is different for everyone. Like for example, in a real estate market, advertising in the real estate market in a place like the United States is much more expensive than doing it here in the Philippines. And for example, doing real estate ads here in the Philippines is much more expensive than, for example, me just promoting a clinic to a local neighborhood.
Mhm.
So it's very different, and it's a bidding platform. So the more competitors you have, the higher the cost. Now that's the tendency. So for me, budget is a really difficult question to answer. But if you're really, really, really conservative, the minimum is 51 pesos per day. So I don't recommend you start with that. I recommend you start with a little, with you be more aggressive.
Yeah,
If you
higher.
can be around like 300 or 500 a day, for me that's a good level of aggression and conservativeness. And what I would do is to start with a messaging campaign. This is especially if you don't have a website. The value of the messaging campaign is you get to talk to people, especially if you're just starting. That is how you'll know your targeting is good. Because if you're talking to people and they're responding, they're asking about your business, or you're asking questions, and they're really interested, then that's a good sign. No? And this is especially helpful, again, if you don't have a website, no? A messaging
Yeah.
campaign, your objective, get people to message you. And the beauty of this is if you run at that small budget, you start to see that it doesn't work, you can immediately switch it up, maybe even lessen the budget. And if again you're conservative and you run with this budget and you start to see that it is effective, right? Hey, this is effective, it's working, I'm getting quality leads, then you can gradually increase. You can even do it mathematically. What I mean is, for example, with 500 pesos a day, you start to get maybe 10 leads. Out of those 10 leads, 3 become a customer. Okay, so every day we get 3 customers at 500 pesos a day. If we want to get 6 customers, just do the math, then you'll have to spend 1,000. So at least now you can start to make smarter business decisions, not based on gut feel, but based
Yeah.
on the numbers that you can see on Ads Manager. Like for example, for myself, I really, at least to start, I didn't trust my gut.
Yeah.
So I would go to the numbers. I would go to the numbers and tell me what I would do. Okay, I need to change the image. I need to change the targeting. It's there. And again, that's what I love. One of the thing I love about Facebook ads is the data is there. You can make smart data-driven decisions, even if it's just a small budget. So,
Nice, nice. So yes, messaging, try that out. So what I got
mhm,
from you is that they can try it out, see
mhm.
how it works for like a couple of days or even a few days,
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
after that adjust right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about, I think, no, like advertising in any kind of platform, not only on Facebook, and even on Instagram, YouTube. It's really about building relationships with the people
Yep.
that you want to talk to. So let's go
Yep.
back, Julian, to social proof.
Mhm.
You mentioned social proof, likes being like sort of an indication that people trust your brand. Do you
Yeah.
have other ways or other strategies on how to increase that social proof for a business owner?
Yeah. So going back to that idea of getting messages. So ideally, you start getting customers from messages, for example. And because you're having a conversation, for example, Ginger, you see my ad,
Mhm.
I was selling staplers, and then you bought a stapler from me. You bought a stapler from me, I shipped it, whatever, you're happy. Because it's messaging, I can actually now go to you, message you, and tell you, hey Ginger, did you get the stapler? How was it? And you can get feedback from the customer.
Yeah.
And what we tend to do is when we get that feedback, we ask permission, if especially if it's really good feedback, na parang, hey, Julian, I really love the stapler. It changed my life, for example. You can, you can ask your permission, take a screenshot of that. And that acts as a testimonial already. And that adds social proof, people raving about you. So it's not just necessarily in the numbers. Again, going back to the food example,
Correct.
sometimes social proof is in the form of numbers when you see a lot of people there. Social proof is also in the form of people raving about you, like in reviews.
Mm-mm.
And this is how I would also start to build that as well. In fact, for example, for me, when someone would approach me about how to start an ad, what ad to do, what I would tell them is to actually go to their reviews, copy some of the best lines there, and use those as ads. So parang, Julian is so cool. The training was so packed. And
Yeah.
then literally copied and pasted, and then I'll just say something like, "These are what some of our customers had to say about our service, and we wanted to know if you wanted to experience the same, for example, training. So click
Nice.
below to message us." So getting reviews, actively getting reviews is a good way for you to start to help that social proof. And at the same way, if you're going to do ads anyway, that can help you run ads as well.
Nice. So for businesses, Julian, it seems like there are a lot of things that I need to do. And normally, as a business owner, I am my own person. I do
Yeah.
everything. So if I'm selling food, I cook, I sell, I market, I talk to people. So do you have any idea of like how much time should I spend on Facebook or getting the word out there on a day-to-day basis?
Okay. So that's actually a tough one for me to answer, but only because I'm not a person who really takes track of time, like how much time I spend. Like a
Yeah.
lot of times when people ask me, Julian, what's your routine? And then they'll get surprised. I don't have one. So in terms of time, I'm not necessarily sure. I think, I mean, for me, it's just
Mm.
by the nature of my work that I do spend a lot of time.
Mm-mm.
I do spend a lot of time on Facebook, but I do get what you're saying because
Yeah.
I try to be an email as well, and I try to, of course, do the work that we do. We do trainings. It's difficult. So for me, in terms of time spent in really doing this, if I had to
Like
give, I'd say
rough
like
estimate.
an hour a day,
Yeah.
while watching Netflix. Even I mean, you can do it
Good
on your
example.
phone, and really this for me, and this is for me, it doesn't have to be again, if you know your target market, you know what problems they're having, and you just want to write content or want to write ads, um, and you're focused on helping them out, it can become second nature, that yes, you can spend even an hour a day while doing something else, and still you're able to pump out content, help out your target audience. I'll go
Mm-mm.
Tagalog a bit, but
Mm-mm.
it's something that I teach my students as well. We call it WAGI. No?
Mm-mm.
WAGI is Walang Gigil. And we just write, or, there's no attachment to what I'm writing is going to convert to sales or anything, no? But we just have our target audience in mind. We know what their issues are, we know what their problems are, and we just speak to that, and we just write to that, um
Yeah.
just to drive home the point, no? Just to drive home the point of really knowing what is relevant to our target audience is a story that I got from a friend. The story goes parang, for example, Ginger, you wake up one morning and then you have this terrible back pain. Terrible back pain, you try to move right, it's painful, try to move left, painful. And when you stand up, the pain moves from your back to your neck like a bolt of lightning that's super painful, super sharp. You just have to shout, ah! And then you went on with your day, you went to lunch, you try to tell your friends, I have back pain. And then one of your friends will say, just put cold compress on it. And then some other will say, cold compress? No, just put warm compress on it. And all these advice that doesn't really help. And then while you're eating, in comes this waiter and then says to you, ma'am, I'm very sorry for eavesdropping, but I heard about your back pain. Is it the back pain here in the lower back? The one when you try to move right, it's painful. Try to move left, it's painful. And when you try to stand up, the pain moves from your back to your neck like a bolt of lightning, super painful, super sharp, and you just have to shout, "Ah!" And this person whom you do not know was able to clearly describe the pain you were going through. Would you listen to him?
Yes, definitely.
And then he would say something like, that's easy. And you ask, how? Diba? How? And again, just to tie it back to this whole point, knowing who your target audience is, knowing what their pain points are, and if you're able to speak to that, the chances are people will listen to you, even if you do not have enough page likes. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
listening to someone who you've never seen, never met before, maybe less than 100 page likes, but this person was able to clearly understand the pain you were going through, you would listen to him. So again, it ties back to what we were talking about in the start. Yes, it helps, but it's not the most important thing. It's not what we should be focusing on. And yeah,
Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, that's true. That's true. There are more important things if you really want to grow your business quickly at this point in time. And I think
yep.
time is of the essence for a lot of people. That's why one of my questions was really regarding time,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are losing income, a lot of people are losing jobs. So
Yeah,
they're looking for ways on how they can basically survive these times. and
yeah,
and if a home-based business or any kind of business, a service-based business, is something that they can get into and earn from, then well and good, diba? So
yep.
yeah, so this is another thing that I wanted to ask you. In terms of Facebook business pages, like,
Mm-hmm.
there are not a lot of courses like on creating Facebook pages, like
Yeah.
really good Facebook pages. Like, what are the things that they should see to it, or even like based on your experience or based on the experiences of the people that you've worked with and consulted with,
Yeah.
um, what are the things that we need to look at and adjust before we get the word out, or before we start like pushing our Facebook business pages?
Um, so for me, and this is based on just my experience, I'm not, I just do the very basics, like having, well, again, this is a personal brand, so I have my face, and I have pictures, and I have my basic information, how to contact me, what I do, what I stand for, who I am. But really, for me, apart from that, at least what I focus on really is the content, what we were talking about just earlier. Just having that down, knowing who you're talking to, because that will, for me, build what you have on the page. So I do agree with you. Not a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of content specifically on building Facebook pages. I don't even have something on that. Um, I think mine even needs work. But in terms of the content that we put out, the audience that we have, I feel like it is something that is relevant and helpful for people. Again, we've been using the restaurant example since earlier, so let me
Mm-hmm.
continue with it. I think having that Facebook page event is like, having your restaurant. When people go to it, what does it look like? If it has, the very basics, it's clean, it's their tables or chairs. I mean, it should be good enough. But having a very fancy Facebook page, having nice graphics and all, will not cover up if we don't have, like, for example, your target audience down, having good content that is relevant. And for me, I'm not a fan of Facebook pages that are just buy me, product, sell, sell, sell.
Mm-mm.
Because Facebook is Facebook is a social platform. Facebook will want to promote you more if there's engagement happening, there's conversation happening. So yeah, for me, the most important thing on a Facebook page is really relevant content.
Nice, nice. Thank you, Julian. So, to wrap this up, what are your final tips for small business owners and professionals?
Yeah. So again, this is a personal tip for me. For me, just don't overthink it. I feel like a lot of people are really I need to do online sales. Let me try Facebook ads, or let me try the ninja tricks, or email marketing, or everything.
Yeah.
I am sharing also to other people is, business, whether it's online or offline, business is simple. We like to, as people, we like to overcomplicate things. But in my opinion, business is simple. You attract your market and you give them what they want. That's why I'm a proponent of the messaging campaign, because you can talk to people and find out what
Mm-mm.
they want, and then provide that, rather than having something, stapler, and then trying to force your stapler onto people who do not want it. So for me, if my number one thing would be to focus on your audience. Focus on your audience and give them what they want, and that will help you build your business.
Okay, thank you so much, Julian. So, you share like where can they contact you or get in touch with you?
Yeah. So again, thank you for having me. Thank you for watching. You can follow my page, Julian Canita, on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube, Julian Canita, as well. Just look for me. And yeah, if you're interested in like training on Facebook ads and all, you can visit our site, juliancanita.com. We have free webinars there you can take at your own time. So thank you.
Yay, perfect. Okay, so for those who stayed until the end, thank you so much for watching us. We hope that you learned a lot from Julian and from this episode. So I will put all of the links that Julian mentioned in the show notes below. So feel free to visit his site and check out what he's doing and learn from him as well moving forward. So to everyone, thank you, Julian, by the way, for
Thank you,
guesting.
Jen.
Yes. So thank you everyone for watching. If you like this video, please click on like, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and click on the notification bell for more videos like this. Again, this is Ginger for GTV. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.